We see these amazingly rich and successful people, and sometimes we wonder what are some of the things these guys do to achieve this massive level of success. And sometimes these things can be a little weird, but highly effective. Today, let's go over 6 weird but powerful things the rich do that puts them in a position to succeed. Number 1. They trigger themselves. Rich and successful people know that sometimes they are not going to feel 100%. They are human beings just like anyone else, and just like everybody else, they have bad days. So in order to combat that, they purposely place items or triggers around their environment that will bring them back into a confident and productive state. Sometimes these can be pretty weird items. For example, one of my mentors keeps pictures of powerful men in his office to create a powerful environmental trigger as he goes into his office to work. This automatically puts him in a powerful and inspired state because he feels surrounded by those great men. This can be very powerful because by feeling surrounded by these great people can naturally raise your standards as well. Others have objects that trigger a sense of urgency. I've met CEOs who keep things like grenades or time bombs, not active of course, in their offices to trigger a sense of battle and urgency as they build their business. Something interesting that I learned from billionaire mentor Dan Pena is that before he was wealthy, he would go to the Rolls-Royce dealership to feel what it was like to be around these luxury cars. He wanted to be exposed to this high-level world even when he couldn't afford it. The majority of people live in reaction to the world and their environments, or they react to other people. Many wealthy people control their environments to create triggers that will put them in a powerful and effective state. They understand how important your environment is, so they control their environment instead of having their environment control them. Number 2. They play mental games with themselves. This might sound a little odd, but many high achievers play mental games to regain perspective, to refocus on their mission, or to push themselves to complete a task or a goal. Something interesting that I learned from the book High Performance Habits is that virtually all high performers purposely create a sense of urgency to achieve their goals. For example, let's say that there are 2 runners in the same physical shape about to go on the run of their lives. One of them thinks about the glory of winning, while the other thinks about how losing will affect his family, and he has to win this for them. One of them wants to win, the other needs to win. One is a desired outcome, and the other is a necessary one. This simple mental exercise raises the stakes of what is in play as you work towards your goals and making your goals that much more important to you. Something interesting that multimillionaire entrepreneur Grant Cardone used to do as he was building his empire was naming his savings accounts with the name of his daughters. This way, he could not take any money out because this would make him think about how this might affect his family in the future. These little mental games might sound a little odd, but they take these entrepreneurs' commitment to the next level. Number 3. They don't focus on reality. One of the biggest traits some of the wealthiest people in the world have in common that might sound a little odd to the average person is that they do not focus on today. Many of these entrepreneurs live in the future. They are always making plans to achieve a goal or to build their next project or how they will approach their next deal. Whether they are thinking about the direction of their company, the vision they have for their lives, the problems they want to solve, or the products they want to create, they are always focused on moving forward. Of course, this doesn't mean that they're not present and enjoy today or don't know what is happening around them. Of course they do, but they are actively creating and pursuing their vision. That is why people call them visionaries. Many of the wealthy people that we know today have worked to fix the problems of tomorrow. From Steve Jobs, whom envisioned a new technology era and actually brought it to the world, to Elon Musk working to solve the way we use transportation and even working to make space travel easier for everyone. Many people call them crazy, but as Steve Jobs famously said, those who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Number 4. They consider working to be a privilege and not an obligation. This is something interesting and quite odd for many people. I mean, if you open up Instagram, you will see countless posts about how Monday sucks and hump day posts celebrating the middle of the week or thank God it's Friday because it's finally the weekend and we get to have some days off. But some of the most successful people in the world have a different take when it comes to work. They consider working to be a privilege because that is what enables them to provide for themselves and their family. Even before they became successful, many wealthy people are grateful for the jobs they had before they became who they are today because it was the stepping stone of their success. Even if they were not fulfilled with their job at the time, they still tried to perform their best because they felt grateful to have it. This is quite different than the majority of the population, where a job is just a form of making a little bit of money instead of a stepping stone for something greater. Number 5. They have unreasonable goals. While most people make goals that are comfortable and easy to achieve, a trait that is common between some of the most successful people in the world is setting goals that seem almost impossible to achieve. I was reading the Steve Jobs biography recently, and something interesting there was that Steve Jobs thought about creating a computer the size of a book way before personal computers were even a thing. Many people thought he was crazy because back then, computers were these massive things that only enthusiasts had. These were computers with no keyboards or mouse or nothing close to the personal computers we have today. And years later, Apple transformed the technology business forever by bringing easy-to-use personal computers to the market and making the book-sized computer called the iPad. Number 6. They make other people believe they can achieve the impossible. Have you ever spent time with someone who just made you feel like you can conquer the world? It's rare, but if you find them, stick around. Massive goals and incredible empires are not built alone. A powerful trait that many of these highly successful people have is the ability to not only share their vision with others, but make them believe that they have the potential to bring this vision to life. This is a powerful skill which can be quite dangerous if used unethically, but when used to make people believe in their own potential for a great vision, can be used to create massive change in the world. In the comments below, let me know if you were to try one of these behaviors, which one would it be, and why? As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.